So everybody's talking about how expensive it has gotten to buy a home. Higher prices, higher rates, literally higher everything. On today's episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, we're going to break down and answer the question, is the American dream still affordable? We're going to look at that. We're going to look at what's changed. We're going to look at what's not changed. And we're going to look at, more importantly, how home buyers in the Lakeway area here in Morristown, Tennessee, are still making the American dream a possibility for themselves. This is going to be a good one, y'all. Hang on. Here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another episode of the Elite Realty Group Podcast, where you receive the most up-to-date, relevant real estate information you're going to find anywhere on the planet. You're going to get it right here from your friends at Elite Realty Group. I'm glad to be with you today. I am Mike Elkins, broker, owner of Elite Realty Group right here in the East Tennessee region, Lakeway area, Morristown area specifically of Tennessee, to bring you some good information today. The big question we're going to tackle is one I think that a lot of people are sitting out there and wondering about. It's always been called, it's always been referred to as being a homeowner, of literally achieving the American dream of becoming a homeowner. The question that we need to dive into today, and we're going to look at and answer and give you a lot of good information about, is the American dream still a possibility? I can't tell you how many of our agents this year have answered or been asked that question of, how in the world are people affording to buy houses with everything in the world that is going on, the prices, the rates, just affordability, electricity, insurance, all of those things? How are people still buying homes? And if I'm honest with you for just a minute, that's a fair question to be asking, because every single thing that we know has went up. And so it's a very fair question to ask, what and how are people doing this? That's fair. But the truth is, the American dream, as far as being a homeowner, it's not disappeared. It's not gone away. It's not gone out of reach. It's just kind of what I would say reshaped. It's changed its shape as what it looks like. It's not about owning the mansion with the white picket fence and having the biggest house and all the square footage. And it's literally sitting down, and we've talked about this before on other podcasts that we've done. It's literally sitting down and figuring out exactly what you need in a home and sticking very close to that, and going out and finding that home that not only fits the needs that you have as far as your size, your location, your area, all of that, but also, what does that price look like? What does that payment look like? And how that you can fit it into your budget. Today, we're going to talk about affordability. We're going to talk about what that really means, how it's changed, but what people are still doing in 2025 to make the American dream a real possibility for themselves. Because if we really look at the whole entire market, and we kind of slow down for just a moment and we peel back the onion, and we peel back and we look at what's going on, the amount of homes compared to 2024, we're literally, depending on when you look at it, we're literally a little bit up, we're literally a little bit down, but we're hovering right around the same number. So people are still making it happen. They're just doing the things we're going to talk about today to make sure that they make that happen. This is more of, I don't want to be a homeowner just because I want to own a home, but I want to be a homeowner because it fits the needs that I have in my life. Now, let's just go ahead and throw this out there, because it's something we've been saying a lot lately that you've heard from me many, many times on these podcasts that I'm doing. A lot of times when you talk about affordability of a house and you look at, is the American dream still a possibility? Has home ownership gotten out of reach? The answer is going to be yes and no to all of those things. We always tell everyone, and this is what you need to hear today, the American dream of being a homeowner is a real possibility, and it's the right thing to do if it's the right thing for you to do financially. Okay, this is so customer, family, personally It's a personal decision that you have to sit down and weigh out the cost of, is this the right thing for me to do? And if you look at all of that information and you gather all of that information and the answer comes back, yes, it is the right thing to do, then it doesn't really matter what's going on for everyone else. It matters what's going on for you. And if it's right for you, it's right. Now, on the whole other side of that, when you sit down with the people you need to sit down and talk to, and that's going to be a real estate agent, that's going to be a mortgage professional, a bank, it's going to be the people who, again, are going to help you kind of formulate the plan to get this. If you add up all the numbers, you count up the cost of all of that, and it says, you know what? This just does not financially make sense to me. Myself as a realtor, a lender, a mortgage person, your Aunt Betty, your Uncle Joe, whoever those people are, it's not their decision to make. If you look at it and you say it's wrong for you, then it's wrong. You need to be the person that figures all of that out. And with the help of some professionals around you, you can count up the cost and see if it's right for you. So let's jump in and talk about affordability, okay? What affordability really means. Let's kind of lay that out and talk maybe in depth about that. When people say homes are not affordable, okay? Homes are just not affordable now. The most of the time, I'm not saying this every time, but most of the time, they're looking at just one thing. They're looking at the price tag. What is the asking price of the home? And they're looking at it and saying, homes just aren't affordable. Okay, that's fair. Okay, but price does not always equal affordability. Is it going to play a role in that? Absolutely it is. But affordability is going to be a combination of a couple things: the home price, the interest rate, and your income level, your debt to income situation. You're, again, as I just alluded to a few moments ago, you're going to look at all of those things. The price of the house, it's going to play a role in it, the interest rate, and your income level, okay? Because a lot of people are going to be able to look at this and say, okay, that home has a high price tag. And can I be honest with you that all homes have a high price tag? Homes are high. That's what it is. And people jump onto us and as realtors, we get, a lot of flack from this, and people try to hit you hard and go, y'all are pricing houses too high. The market sets the prices of the house, okay? What people are willing to pay for homes, that's what says what homes are able to be marketed at. So as a realtor, that's what we look at. But I want to remind you that if there's ever a mortgage going to be taken out on this home, there's going to be even somebody come behind us, an appraiser. They're going to do their due diligence, and they're going to check into that, and they're going to tell the bank that's getting ready to lend the money on this house, yes, this home, according to the market, is worth the price that it is. That little extra didn't cost you nothing, but home prices are high. Everything's high. But when you look at that and you say the affordability, and we'll just use the price of a home, that house is $250,000. That price is high. That price tag may be high, but you may be a person out there, you got $100,000 to pay down. That changes everything. That changes what that monthly payment's going to be. That changes the affordability of that house for that person. So when I go back and say it's all so personal, like you've got to look at it for your individual situation to be able to say affordability and is it really affordable for you or not. You've got to look at all those things because price is in there, rates in there. But again, your debt to income, your income level, what you're paying down, it makes a difference. Now, when you talk about interest rate, we've kind of talked about the price. Okay, you got to look at the price. But when we talk about interest rates, okay, rates we've seen lately, they've started ticking down, bringing affordability a little bit more closer to a whole lot of people, especially if you're that buyer out there and you don't have this big chunk of money to pay down. You don't have a lot. Maybe you have no money to pay down, okay? The interest rate is going to play into, is this home affordable for me? So you look at that, and there are different things that can be done with that rate. Rates are already coming down. But one of the things that we're seeing happen a lot lately is buyers are electing to do what's called a rate buy down. And I could talk about this for a long time, but to save you the boredom of doing that, it's literally what it sounds like. You literally buy your interest rate down. And you say, what does that look like? Well, you pay a sum of money, or what we're seeing happen a lot of times, the buyers are asking the seller for what's called seller concessions, meaning the seller is going to contribute to your closing cost or your expenses to close the loan. And buyers are electing to use a percentage of those costs to actually buy down their interest rate. Meaning, if it's 5.8, 5.9, they're buying it down to 5.4, 5.2, maybe even lower. It just depends on your financial situation. So when you look at the affordability, again, talking back and bringing that back to you again, we've already talked about the price. Yes, the price is probably going to be higher than you want to pay, but are you paying money down? That could change everything. The interest rate part of that, okay? Are you buying down the interest rate? Is that a possibility for you to do to get that rate down lower? Absolutely, it's a possibility for you. These are all so critical that you look at them on an individual basis. That's what you got to remember. When we look at the affordability of homes today, it's all individually based. The third thing that we look at is your debt to income. What does that look like? What other bills do you have? Are there a lot of car payments? Are there 2 or 3 car payments? Are there credit card, student loans? All of those things are going to play into the affordability of this home, what you can afford. There are ratios that are out there, and I'm not going to quote those to you because they do seem to vary depending on the loan type. And again, the money you pay down, it's all individualized. But banks, lenders, mortgage people, they do look at what's a ratio of your debt to income. And I'm going to use a broad term here just to show you. But they again want your debt to income to fall into a certain ratio. Meaning just because you make $5,000 a month does not mean you can use every bit of that money for your cars and your homes and all those things. They want a certain ratio in there. So the affordability, it's going to fall back into that. What other kind of debt do you have? That's going to play a role into what that house payment can be. So when we talk about affordability, those 3 things play a major role in the affordability of a home. What is the price? Do you have money to pay down? What is the rate? Are you getting seller concessions? What is your other debt? So when we talk about affordability, we got to literally look at the whole picture, okay? Not just that sticker price, not just what that the home is looking for. The question isn't, can I afford a house? The question is really, can I afford to keep renting and never build equity? And so you got to make sure that all fits in to what it individualizes out for you. So what does affordability really mean? You're going to look at those 3 spots. The next thing let's talk about is, to answer the question, is the American dream still a possibility for me? Let's look at what's changed, okay? Let's look at what's changed and what hasn't in connection with the American dream. Here's what's changed, okay? Home prices, okay? Home prices have risen faster than incomes in many areas. That's just a fact, okay? Home prices have risen faster than incomes in many areas. Rates are higher than we've gotten used to, especially if you look back 3 to 4 years ago when they were down in the 3s and the high 2s. Like, they're higher than what we've got used to. However, I will tell you that if you look historically, now that we've crept down a little bit, they've kind of came back down. We're still a little lower than what your historical average, if you look back for the last 30 years, we're still a little lower than that. But rates are higher than what we've gotten used to, okay? Starter homes for a lot of people that's coming into the market, maybe for the first time, that first-time buyer, starter homes are getting harder to find, okay? They're what you would say, because home prices have risen faster, that price a lot of times don't line up, okay? Making them harder to find. That's changed, okay? Here's what's not changed is people, you, the home buyer, they still want to become homeowners. They still want that security of this is mine. I can do anything I want to it at any time. I can change anything, do anything. I still want to be a homeowner and the security that comes with it, okay? What's not changed is people still want to have roots, okay? They want that place in that location because they want it to be theirs. That's not changed, okay? What else has not changed is real estate in a whole, if you would have it, being a homeowner. It still helps you build wealth more consistently than any other investment that's out there. Even what you say we've seen happen in the real estate market over the last several years, and we literally localize. I basically bring it to this moment in time that we are right now. Home prices this year have still crept up at the tune of about 3 to 5 to 8%, depending on what publication you look at. That literally, again, just means if we use 5%, you've got a $200,000 house, you've built $10,000 worth of equity in that house this year just because you're a homeowner. That's a good thing. You get paid $10,000 for living in your own house. So that's not changed. People still want that, okay? The average homeowner's net worth 40 times higher than the average renter's. That's not changed, okay? Think about that for just a minute, okay? Think about just that statement for just a minute. Even with all the noise that's going on in the market, home ownership continues to be the number one wealth builder in America because it's yours, okay? So when you hear it is expensive, it's too expensive, I always try to remind people it's also expensive not to be a homeowner, okay? It's expensive to be a renter, okay? Now, if you're living rent-free with someone, I've got nothing to argue here, okay? There's nothing I can say about that, but that's not changed. It's always been that way, okay? Just having the cost of living somewhere, it's all expensive, okay? It's all expensive. So let's dive into what I think is the good part, okay? What are home buyers doing? How are people still making it work? Okay. How are people making this work? This is where we're going to get practical. Okay. This is what we see people doing every single day to make the dream of home ownership literally something that is right for them. Okay. The first thing is what I mentioned just a few moments ago of buying down that rate. Okay. Getting concessions from a seller to getting that rate lower. That way, that makes the home more affordable for you. We see a lot of people doing that, okay? We also see a lot of people in connection, which runs right in with that. This is all still number one. They're getting sellers to help them with their closing costs, which that buy down can be a part of that. That way, they're not having to have all this money out of pocket, okay, to become a homeowner. They're getting those concessions from a seller. And just to be honest with you, because homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer right now, we're seeing sellers be a lot more open to that than they was 6, 8 months ago, a year ago. We're seeing them be a lot more open to that. Number two is we're seeing people go smaller, but they're going smaller sooner, okay? The longer you wait, you kind of have to think about what I said just a few moments ago. If home prices are rising, okay, around 5% in the Lakeway area this year, our average home is a little over $300,000. That means that $300,000 house is going to be 5% more next year. That means it's going to be $15,000 higher. So the longer you wait, as what we're seeing right now, the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. So we're seeing people go smaller sooner, meaning now. Okay, they're not again looking for the biggest home. They're looking for the affordability because they understand I would rather have the equity and the growth of that 5% as building equity for me than waiting on someone else going. This is what you got to remember. You're probably going to stay in this house 5 to 7 years. So this doesn't have to be the forever home. It just has to be the right home. Okay, here's number three. Explore down payment assistance options, okay? Tennessee's got solid programs, several solid programs for first-time home buyers that covers part of their cost, okay? THDA, a lot of those is the things you're probably going to hear those loans out, but use those, explore those down payment assistance programs. That way, again, you're not having to have all this money saved up over here, okay? Number four, how people are making it work. They're working with local experts to get this done. Local real estate agent, local mortgage people, local banks. They're working with those people because honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. We see when people kind of work with agents and or mortgage people that aren't local, it's a lot harder to get done. The local people have a very good pulse of what is happening locally. So work with the local experts, lenders, hometown agents. They've actually a lot of times got the solution that really just the national big banks, big organizations, they overlook those. So don't focus on literally what's out of reach. Okay. This is what people are doing. They're doing it every day. We literally in September helped more people in September than we have this entire in the month of September than we have any other month this year. So people are making it happen. Okay. You again just got to focus on what's possible for you and what's possible for you right now. Okay. Let's last look at the local reality check. Okay. Give you some specifics of what's happening. Okay. Our average home prices have grown. Yes, they have. Okay. But we're still far below the national average. Okay. We're still below the national average. We're in a community where you can find those starter homes. Matter of fact, we have a program right now that we're helping a whole lot of people with that are finding people homes that's under $200,000. We're seeing those homes that literally went away from, they were not on the market a year ago, year and a half ago. There were some, but there were 10, there were 8. We're seeing 60 and 80 of those now. So that affordability is there. We're able to help those people. We've seen steady growth, okay? Here in the Lakeway area, I just mentioned to you the 5%. We're not seeing those wild spikes that we were seeing years ago. That's in prices going up, and that's in prices going down. We're not seeing that, okay? So that's the stuff that you got to look at. We're not seeing those things happen. It makes stability, meaning stability, it's a healthy market. It's a good thing for both buyers and sellers. That's the stuff that you have to look at, okay? If you're going to chase the American dream, we're literally here in the Lakeway area, one of the best places to do it, okay? So don't always buy into the national headlines that it's out of reach. It may be for some people, that's just a real thing. But if you work with someone who can walk you through these steps, who can look at this individualized for you, literally personalize it, okay, that you can see what's going on for you, you're in one of the best places in America to make this happen, okay? Homeownership is a very real possibility for the people here in the Lakeway area. So again, answering the question, is home ownership, is the American dream still affordable? The question is, the answer to that question is absolutely. A lot of times it just requires some strategy. It just requires maybe some adjustments to some things that you thought about than it did before. Okay. You just got to think about it. It's not about perfection. It's about making progress and getting you eventually to where it is that you want to go. It's not gone. It's just out there. You got to just start. Okay, you've got to start the step. The good things is having conversations with realtors at Elite Realty Group. It's not going to just cost you anything but your time to sit down and have that conversation. They can help get you in contact with the people who's going to figure all of this out for you. Hopefully, I've answered for you today. Is the American dream out of reach? The answer is no, it's not. It's absolutely still there. Just use the resources that you have in front of you. Hopefully, that would be us at Elite Realty Group, to help you make sure you get the finish that you're looking for in becoming a homeowner. That does it for us today here on the Elite Realty Group Podcast. I hope that I've brought you some good information, answered the question for you. Again, if you're out there in the Lakeway area and you are wanting to explore the option of the American dream of becoming a homeowner, reach out to us here at Elite Realty Group. We would love to sit down and walk you through the process and get you to where you want to go in becoming a homeowner. We would love to do that. You can visit us online at eliterealtygrouptn.com. That's our website. Or you can just call us up, 423-307-8566. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. We would love to be able to assist you. Until next time, make sure you like and subscribe to whatever channel or podcast you're listening to this on. Watch for all of our daily content coming out to bring more information to you. I hope you guys are safe and blessed. Until next time, we will see you later from all of us here at Elite Realty Group.